Head east.
I got 40. You got more. I got more than.
Where do you want this one, Doc?
Oh, looks bad. Looks bad.
Shape's the end.
Very bad.
Lost a foot.
For one thing, he's lost his foot, but he's also taken another shot in here.
Tibia, fibia.
Fibula.
The fibula
Sticking out there. Yeah.
has been shattered and pushed out through the skin. Compound fracture there. Ideally, if it wasn't for this, we would take the below the knee, which would be much better for a prosthetic device. But because of this, it's probably too much damage in there. We're not going to be able to do that. We need to take it off before or below, right above the knee. There we go.
Hey Doc, are you gonna smoke during this?
No, my
Okay.
cigar went out.
Okay.
I can use ether then.
You may use ether.
Not sure how much opium they gave him.
I don't know if we've given him any yet.
He's out cold. It's either whiskey or opium.
Well, he's got a pretty good heartbeat, nonetheless.
Shock?
Yes.
His pulse is thready,
Yeah, could be in shock.
so
He could be in shock.
he's probably lost quite a bit of blood too. So that could contribute to the shock.
Yeah.
Nasty wound like that.
Blown off to me.
This is a... No, it ain't. Where's the cat?
Just below the tourniquet.
There's a cat one in there. There's a cat one in there.
You get your major amputation saw there.
We're going to go in right below the knee through the flesh. Not very sharp.
Talk to the stewards. It's their job.
I sharpened that back in 95.
Can you pull the flat back so I can saw?
Yeah.
What the hell did I do with the green bowl?
He's using a teneculum to pull that back.
I'll come over and grab what I need.
Now there you go. Oh, here you're gonna need this rongeur, I think, to trim that.
Yeah, we
bone
got to
up.
clean that up. Bonjour.
There you go. Trim the edges off of that, sharp edges off of that femur there.
Oh, Dr. Walker. This
And
is
see the arteries, they pulled back.
So I'll get you the right size.
Let's see if
Oh,
we can,
this goes. This is the.
let's see if we can get this down to...
Closure.
Back it.
Close this up. Not yet. We're going to put a couple sutures in it.
Just a few. Just a few.
Here.
Sure to leave a tail on them.
The reason we leave a tail on them so that we can periodically stuck myself. It's ready to continue the sutures.
Still out?
He's still out, but his pulse is still there. This one?
Pupils are mid position, they're not bad.
And then we'll do another one over here.
I'll do another one under your little finger.
Move my finger.
Don't get the finger in there. You might have to amputate it.
We just did.
I think just a few to hold it.
How's his pulse doing?
His pulse is steady, but it's still kind
Yeah,
of
you need
A
to.
little
thready
weak,
and
little
weak.
weak.
You're gonna have to bring him out. Once you get that stitched up and bandaged, you're gonna have to bring him out. You don't want him under too long. We're gonna need a bowl in case he's sick. They can get sick on him. You never know.
Looking pretty good, Colonel.
The problem
Looking
with
good.
using ether is it tends to make people sick. But it's, as you can see, the patient is pretty much sedate, which helps them.
I like the chloroform, but if you use it over and over, you can get liver failure from it.
It's got its issue. They've tried mixtures of the two too.
Yeah, that works fairly well.
Yeah, it's an experiment. Chloroform's not as explosive. That's the other problem with ether. It's okay in an open area like this and nobody's smoking, but in a confined area, you got to be careful with ether.
Anybody got any questions?
Does the tourniquet then stop most of the blood flow?
Yeah, the major blood flow from the femoral artery coming down at least. They'll still get little bleeders, occasionally have time off.
When you go too far, you need to release that tourniquet and make sure you don't have secondary bleeding. either.
Did you want to wet pack that?
Yes.
Yes.
Also, I didn't get that. I thought I had the time.
You got. Oh, I've got it. I got them in it.
I got both of them here.
Oh, you got both of them. Okay.
You want to release the tourniquet and make sure you don't have secondary
Yeah.
before you button him up.
It was common practice during the Civil War to use wet dressings on the wounds. The theory being that the wet dressings aided in the healing process. Now, if you stop and think about it, we've got a nice wet dressing. It's a nice dark.
Actually, if you want to hand me the other one, Doctor. This is how they want us to do it now.
Got a nice warm body. It's nice and moist, and when you put the bandage on, it's nice and dark. So what's happening? We've got this beautiful incubator. Yep.
There you go.
That's what happens when I let the doctors do the steward's job.
And all we're doing is making this beautiful incubator, and germs and bacteria that we didn't know anything about, excuse me, are just growing like crazy in there, and probably the wound's going to become infected. Most of the doctors thought an infection was a good thing. It was a sign that the wound was healing. If it didn't develop
Doctor,
the
for
infection,
your cough.
thank you. If it didn't develop, or it didn't become infected, it wasn't healing properly.
It's big bandage. No, thankfully today we actually do have enough doctors. Usually if there's one surgeon, the steward is running around doing the anesthesia. And we're actually checking their level of consciousness. So I've been looking at his eyes. I've been checking his pulse. I've been measuring him for signs of wakefulness. It's also the steward's job. Oh, no, I just tear. It's just a tear.
It's already started.
Well, in Syracuse, we don't.
Oh,
We're not in
Sorry,
Syracuse
ma'am.
today, doctor.
You're in the field camp.
So in the steward would be checking the levels of consciousness, making sure they remain sedated, doing all of the bandaging, and also it was our job to make sure that we cleaned the handles of the instruments for the doctors. We did not clean the blades of the instruments because they weren't holding it by the blades, so they wanted the handles unslick because blood is a very slippery substance and they would get cut badly.
There you go. Smile, everybody. Or no,
So,
don't
and
smile,
then we
everybody.
would be expected to bandage very quickly because they only had about 15 minutes at the table.
Any more
Good job,
questions?
Colonel. Questions?
Did the doctors get an extra ration of whiskey then?
Yeah.
It's
Depends
worth
on
it.
whether or not we made the stewards mad
worth it.
because they control the medical doing.
And if they live, maybe an extra ration.
And clean up everything.
Stewards, good cleaning up stuff.
Yes,
Yep,
we
good
are.
stuff.
Very good.
Can you bring him
very good.
around?
Yeah. Get him up. Wake him up. Wake him up.
You're okay, soldier.
What was your
Wake
name?
up. What's your name?
Noble.
All right, Noble.
You feel sick?
No.
Take a couple of deep breaths for us.
Yes.
We think you're going to be all right.
some
You're going
air
to
in
need
there.
to be convalescent for a while. And we'll get you a prosthetic leg here after things heal a little better.
What?
An artificial leg after things heal a bit.
What's wrong with mine?
Well, it was, what happened? Was it blown away by a cannon?
Evidently the ankle was, yes. You lost your foot. And you had damage between the knee and what was left of your foot.
What you got there is can very much be worked with, you know, and can be rehabilitated, brought to get you on your feet again by and by is the plan. And you won't have to march in the column.
You might get to go home. We can remove him from the operating room.
Litter bearers. Next.
Take a ride at Albuquerque, would you?
Good job.
Good job. Very good, doctors. That was 15 minutes exactly.